Hello everyone, my name is Lou and I'm back again with Luke, and I've mentored him for the last 3 weeks, almost a month now. So, first things first, you'll see on the screen, this is literally from a standing start. This store didn't exist a month ago. And we're meeting again just to run through his progress, just to look at some of his sales, look at the obstacles that he's overcame, some of the problems he's had, just so that you can learn and hopefully that I can show you guys exactly how to do this step by step. Luke spent a lot of time on the product sourcing. He found a good product in a good niche, did plenty of research on it, set everything up with the suppliers, built a Shopify store, built his email flows, built some front-end ads. And now, as you can see, he's achieved almost £7,500. That's what, almost $9K?
Yep. Pounds,
yeah, which is amazing. And this is from literally from zero. This is from no experience, never run a proper dropshipping store before, never created a brand before. And I've tried my best to help him step by step, just to take you guys through the process so you can see that if Luke can do it, literally anyone can do it. And Luke comes from a services background. He's played around a little bit in e-com for a short while, but he's kind of turned his full attention to this. And out of this 7,300, how much profit have you made?
I think we're around the £2,000 mark. Obviously the first 2 weeks was in the negative, then it was kind of break even, and it's only really the last 2 weeks that it started kicking off, so that's great.
So again, for those of you who are working full-time positions and you're only making 2,000 per month, this is literally with only a few hours focus on getting this up. Luke can now literally live and work anywhere in the world as long as he's got his laptop, he's got good internet connection, he doesn't have to see or touch or get involved in the infrastructure of the product with the shipping, etc. He's got all of the elements lined up perfectly that will free him, and hopefully this is just month 1. Imagine month 6 and 12 if you stick with this. This is really going to start to rocket, and this is from zero experience. Okay, so we won't spend too long on the call, but I basically just want to run through and talk to Luke in front of you guys, just to kind of see what obstacles he's had to overcome, what he's done to be able to get these sales, how he set up the back end, the technology stack, etc. Again, just so you guys can learn. And I'm also setting up, actually I've just launched a new school community where I'm going to be hosting my own course where I'll teach you step by step how to create and scale a branded dropshipping store. I only deal with brands. I don't do anything on the pump and dump side of things when it comes to sourcing product, selling it, and finding something else. I like to play long-term games, long-term people, and this is kind of what I want to do in this community. So at the minute, we've literally just launched it a couple of days ago. It's $1 for the first 50 members, then it will go up to either $49 and then $99 a month. And I'm going to be giving as much value as I can. I'm going to be doing at least one-to-many call on Zoom at least once a week, sometimes twice, and then you can also book in for one-to-one consultations with me as well, where we'll run through your own store and I'll give up my knowledge. We'll record it and then we'll kind of get it out so everyone else can see. Okay, and then longer term vision with this is for me to build a full course where I will document step by step exactly what I've done with all of my brands, and these are high 6 or 7 figure profitable brands that I've created from scratch. Again, just so you guys can leverage my experience and do exactly the same yourself. So we'll stick with Luke's store for now. Just if this is the first time you've seen this video, it might be interesting to go back. So I've recently started my YouTube channel, and one of the first videos was when Luke first came up with this idea, and he had like a very basic Shopify store, and we spent about an hour and a half just running through his homepage, his product page, his landing page. So it'd be very interesting for you guys to see what it looked like then and what it looks like now, and how we've refined and optimized it over the past few weeks to optimize it for conversions, because ultimately that is the sole purpose of your website, is to capture, retain, and then convert that attention into money. And as we can see, this is doing a very nice job, and this is only month 1. So just to give you a point of reference, we'll have a quick look at the store just so you can see what it looks like. I'm assuming how much traffic are we getting to mobile versus desktop?
I think mobile's now overtaken. I think it's about 80% mobile, 20% desktop.
Okay, cool. So again, we'll just have a very, very quick scan through. And again, for you guys, if you have time, go back a few weeks and look at the video so you can see what the original store was set up and looked like, and contrast it to what it is now and how everything is architected. Because you can take a lot of inspiration from this, because this, as you can see, is converting. And this is a high AOV product, which means average order value. So sometimes there's a longer customer journey attested to this when it comes to the buying cycle. So you can really take some inspiration as to the way that it's set up, it's architected. Look at the homepage, look at the flow, look how concise and clean the copy is, look how that's backed up by really good strong imagery as well. And if that's something that you guys can do and take inspiration from, hopefully that will save you a whole lot of pain, because the second that you turn on your ads, you do not want to be running traffic to a leaky bucket. You need to ensure that everything is as dialed in as possible. So again, some good inspiration for this, okay? So I'll just quickly scan through it, just so you can see what it looks like. Where are you running traffic to?
The landing page, so you'd have to type it in manually.
Right, okay, so this is product page, this is a PDP. Yeah. Again, really nice, really clean. I know you've come up with some really good creative solutions on the marketing flow as well, which we can get into very quickly, because it hasn't just been a case of us turning on ads and then playing around. We've kind of sat down and we've looked and mapped out that customer journey to see what's going to have the best impact for customers.
I mean, originally I started with the traffic going straight to the product page. The first issue that I had with that is they would see the price and get scared off immediately before learning anything about the product. So the next iteration was to send them to, I think it was to the home page, which was a mistake. And then the third iteration has been to a specifically made landing page that captures their email and then puts them into the buying cycle through an email flow, which has worked a lot better.
Amazing. And this just drives home the importance of really spending time to get to know your customers. So I have a really good spreadsheet, actually. It's a bit of a worksheet hosted on my school community. It's there now, you can get access to it, and this is a good deep dive on who your customer is, where they are, because you need to know them more than they know themselves. This is how you get ahead. This is how you're able to anticipate what their needs are, what their problems are, what their likes are, what their desires are, and this is the copy that you build into your landing page. I know Luke spent a very long time on this. Whilst this might look like a completed, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 steps ahead of everyone else, it is literally just getting the fundamentals correct and then applying them as quickly as possible before you turn your ads on, okay? It's not that it's all front loaded and you do it and that's it, you forget about it. Your website, your landing page, your emails, your ads, your creative, you're constantly iterating, you're constantly trying to use that physics of progress or that scientific method to figure out exactly where the holes are, where the gaps are, and then figuring out what the market's going to respond to. But you did put a lot of time into this, and hopefully you can see that it's starting to pay dividends in the way that your sales are coming through.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is landing page, right?
Yes. Is it? I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So instead of going straight for the kill with the sale, where, as you can see, we're going in for a bit of a longer flow. So if you have a product which is lower value, so it ticks the criteria maybe of an impulse buy, and I would say around the $40 mark is probably more impulse buy, then you can afford to be more kind of direct to the kill with the product. But when this, how much is the product?
£297.
Okay, so best part of $300. Then assuming the customer's never heard of this before, they don't know the technology, they don't know the product, they've never heard of the brand, it can take a lot longer for them to feel comfortable that this isn't a scam, that this actually does what it says it's going to do, which means you have to lead with education. You have to build that trust and integrity with your consumer beforehand. So looks like a longer flow, and this is why if you look back at the metrics, I'll just see if I can switch back to this on here, how we didn't really get any sales for those first few days. And most of the time that is because there's a longer buying cycle attached to this product. The customers need to learn more, particularly so if they're more analytically minded, before they hand over $300. They want to know everything about it, as much as possible anyway. Because they don't want it's $40, okay, scam, no problem. $300 on the other hand, that's a lot for people. So again, just being aware, being attentive to the fact that you have different customer profiles, and the cost of your product generally has a direct correlation to both your conversion rate and the length of time it actually takes for them to convert, which is why your email flows, your email marketing is super important, and that also needs to link back into your retargeting as well. So we'll stick on this for now. I just want to make sure I'm on the right tab. All right, landing page is here. So this is employing gamification as well. So we're taking them on a little bit of a journey so they can understand that basically you want them thinking, once they've clicked through this, that you've just described my problem and this product is 100% the correct route for me to go down. That's the psychology behind it. So it might seem a little bit more drawn out. We're not going straight for the kill. We're not asking for the sale. But what you're doing is you're embedding that law of reciprocity where you give before you get. Okay, so a little bit longer, but in terms of how this is working, obviously you can see on the back end, this from a standing start, this is definitely working, and this I can still see tons of room for improvement on this.
So can I, massively.
Yeah, and there's so many different ways that we can go about the marketing. We can actually test as well, going directly for the kill and going straight for the product page, or even having the product embedded at the bottom. But as you can see, everything here seems to be just directly to this assessment, right?
Exactly, yeah.
And then we've got UGC, we've got customer success stories. This all works nicely. Again, there's not too much text, which is also amazing. We're using real life case studies, so we're trying to like get in the mindset of our target audience. We're using the same type of images for them. For example, they seem to be middle-aged guys losing their hair, so there's no women on here, there's no like teenagers, there's no elderly guys on here. So again, we've really spent time profiling our customer, because remember, when it comes to marketing, it sounds counterintuitive, but the principle is if everyone is your customer, no one is your customer. You really need to narrow in on your niche, because that's what's going to dictate how you build your creative in, both on the front end, on the website, and also on the back end for your flows. You need them to think and know that this product is directly for me. It's the same avatar, it's the same profile. Okay, so Luke's done a really good job of this. Again, just looking how smooth, how clean this is. Like, to me, this now does not look like a scam. This looks like a legitimate business, which it is. This looks like a product that actually does what it says it's going to do. There's tons of social proofing. There's loads of images. Again, instead of telling them what it's going to do, the way to dial that up is to actually show them what it's doing and who else it's worked for. Because that, again, is just going to objection handle. You're going to anticipate what you think their problems are going to be, what their objections are, and then you can get to them beforehand. All right, so we're just trying to reduce all of those barriers to conversions as much as possible. And this is just their second imprint with the brand. The first one was the creative and the ad. Second one is going to be this landing page, which, guess what, isn't pushing for a sale. It's actually going to be educational. It's engaging. They're going to learn something. Worst case scenario, so it's a good investment of their time. And remember, we live in the attention. Attention is the biggest commodity, yeah? So we're capturing it, we're holding it, and then eventually we're going to convert it. But the main thing is we've mapped this out, and we're actually getting into that customer's head, as opposed to us just being businessmen, businesswomen, and just going straight for the kill, okay? So yeah, I'll scroll through this again, just nice and quickly, just so you can see it. Again, it's really good. Very nice. Yeah, again, you see use of humour as well, just thinking outside the box.
I mean, there's still a lot that I want to do. I'm looking at this now, thinking, yeah.
But that's good. You want to come back at your landing pages or your product pages every week or so and come back and think, I don't like this.
Yeah.
But you need to try and make sure that this isn't based on assumptions, because at one time you thought this looked good. It's only because you've seen it multiple times that it doesn't look as good. Yeah. You need to try and make data-driven decisions. Look at your heat maps. Look at how customers, like, again, don't watch everyone individually, but like look at it as a collective if you can. There's loads of apps for that. And then look, and like, because this is more of a long-form sales advertorial type. Yeah, it's not like a short one. This is just keep scrolling and scrolling, and it's very information heavy for those who are analytical.
Yeah.
Okay? But the main thing really is to keep the main thing, which is to get them into this funnel, which is here.
Exactly.
And this is working well, right?
Yeah, it's working well. Yeah.
Right.
It's changed slightly since we first looked at it. Because with this quiz, you can actually see where people drop off at certain points. So, for example, one of the issues that I had is when they first start the quiz, they have to give over their first name, and a lot of people, after looking at the analytics, it was like 50% were falling off. So I changed that to the end, add their name and their email, and it's been working great since then.
Amazing. I remember this last time doesn't work on the inspect element very well, so we'll come out of it for now. But anyway, you get the hang of it.
Yeah.
You get the principle of what we're saying. So yeah, that's just like very high level, the way we've set things up. But what I want to focus on in this conversation is just that whole process, because I know there's been a lot of highs, there's been a lot of lows, there's been a lot of nothing going on, there's been a lot of I don't know what to do now.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of how do I do this? And that, again, in entrepreneurship, your job, remember, you're a problem solver. You're paid in direct proportion to the level of the problem that you're able to solve. Okay, and that almost entails that you have to come up with creative solutions. And if you can't do that, you need to seek help, support, and guidance from those who've done it before, which is kind of why I'm trying to do this and do this in public as well and give this information out for free. But yeah, I just want to focus just for a minute or two just on the mindset. How's it been for you? Because go back to this, right? This is very up. And this is zoomed in though. If you zoom that out over a long enough period of time and allow this to compound, it will be up and to the right, but it's still going to be zigzags.
Yeah.
So how have you dealt with that? How have you found it?
I mean, that's pretty good representation of my mindset, really, right there. When the sales are coming in, you're feeling really good, really positive, and then as soon as it starts dipping down, you're like, panic situation. But the more you ride the waves, the less emotions I've found are going into it. So yeah, I mean, like this week, for example, I haven't had that many sales, but I'm not looking at it on a day-to-day basis anymore. I'm looking at it a weekly basis, because I realise sometimes, you can see from the chart, a lot of my sales come in on the weekend, for example. So yeah, I just wait for the whole week to finish and then look at it and then see if I can make any improvements.
Yeah, and again, it's just something to be aware of, because our emotions will suck us in and they can fool us very easily because we start to believe them. And if you act on emotion as opposed to logic, sometimes if you're just reading the signs or you're in this little bit of a lull, so even just say here a couple of days without a sale, when you're spending on ads, when you're investing your time, your effort, your energy into this and you're not seeing the results immediately, this is why most people quit. In this phase here or this phase here, even though you can see they're getting smaller and smaller as things start to compound and get better, as you get more data pushed through for your email flows, etc. The key is to not get sucked into the day-to-day. I did it for years. I would wear my, even just narrow it down to how happy I was, how content I was in the day based on how many sales I'd had that morning or that afternoon. Say with my nutrition brand, I remember I would get to, 6 or 7 o'clock at night. I had one sale all day. I don't know how much I was spending on ads, but all I was thinking is that whole day from 7 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night, I was just doom and gloom. This is horrible. I'm going to turn my ads off. And I'm doing all this wrong. We need to re-architect this. This isn't set up correctly. Just this is what goes on your head. And then from 7 o'clock till 11 o'clock, 13 sales out of nowhere.
Well, you remember what happened with me. I threw my toys out the pram. I got all fed up. I said, right, I'm just going to turn everything off. Went back home, took a couple of hours off, and I met up with Lou for dinner later on, and I said, as soon as I threw my tantrum, I had 2 sales come through. Actually, I think it was 3 sales come through. So,
but imagine if you let that get to you and you said, okay, that's it, I'm throwing in the towel, it's not working. You see how your emotions trick you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Literally, your thoughts dictate your reality. Sounds a bit like Jedi mind trick, but it's true. Mm-hmm. And
for me, I mean, the way that I've found to kind of get rid of that emotion is to focus on parts of your business to help improve. Instead of looking at the sales all day, every day, it's okay, what I'll do this week is I'm just going to focus purely on email marketing. I'm going to ignore the sales, just make sure that I've got this absolute down to the T. Because if I'm adding value somewhere, it may not pay off straight away, but it will do in the future.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just not getting sucked into the day-to-day. And I say this to all of the brands, the brand owners that I work with, is not to be in that cycle, because it destroys you, your nerves, everything. It's not good. But it's when this is your business, when this is your baby, this literally does feel like life and death at times, and it's very hard to not to do it. For example, now with all of my other stores, I don't look at the sales until the day after, because then I've got a complete data set and I haven't been sucked into the ups and downs. And then if I've had a bad day, that means, guess what? I'm probably going to have a good day today.
Yeah.
And you need to look at the macro trends to make sure it is up and to the right and not get too sucked into the micro, unless you're doing a specific test or you're running a specific sale or some type of program which has a high intensity focus on a particular campaign or drive or launch, whatever that is. Of course, that's going to be important. We're just talking about general day-to-day. Once you're settled into a business as usual type thing. Okay, so do you know roughly where your sales are coming from?
Yeah, I mean, the majority of them are coming from Facebook ads at the moment, but we've had a couple come from email marketing. So I ran a couple of campaigns and they did fairly well. Some of them have been from the flows in the email marketing, and that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. I've got a couple of affiliates as well, but I'm not sure if it's just because they're coupon codes. Okay. They go on my website and then they come off, go onto Google, find a coupon, then come back on again. But yeah, those have been my avenues.
What are you doing on Google at the moment?
Google, nothing.
Why?
In terms of what, SEO?
No.
Advertising?
Yes.
Oh, I haven't touched it.
Bro.
Oh, yeah, okay. That'll be fun.
All right. In the course I'm building, I have a whole module that I'm prepping just to help you with the setup, with the management, the day-to-day, the structure, the account management, etc. So I'll let you know when that's built, but make sure you get in my school as quickly as possible whilst it's still cheap. But yeah, this is another avenue, and this is a key driver of revenue. But it's different. It's different to Facebook ads because it's not something you're constantly cycling in creative. You have 2, maybe 3 types of campaigns. You've got your search, and this is brand search or keyword search. Mm-hmm. So they're for relative affiliated terms. Mm-hmm. And then you also have a PMAX, which is very more video and visual led, but this is where you're going to get into the Google infrastructure, YouTube, etc. And this is where you're going to show and position your product on those.
I don't know anything about this. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, again, if you've done this with just Facebook ads and Klaviyo, this is going to add a whole other dimension. And sometimes this gives you that extra bump in revenue because it's following customers around. You're getting like 4, 5, 6 more chances than you would on just Facebook or Instagram because that's their infrastructure.
Yeah.
This is going to be so important. And then what you want to aim for in the long run, I know you mentioned SEO. SEO is like, it's organically built into the website. It's not organically built, but you have to factor that in to your copy, to your meta tags, all of that. Mm-hmm. That is a whole strategy in and of itself, which I'll also post a full course on how to do that and set that up and manage it. Again, these are all like full-time paid positions for like professionals.
Yeah.
But we're not going to have that breadth. So we're not going to have the depth, we're going to have the breadth of knowledge, so we know at least fundamentally how to set it up. And then once we get the cash flow, then either we learn it ourselves or we can hire someone who's plug and play. Yeah. But in the beginning, super, super important for you to at least have some sort of basic structure. And again, this always comes back to how much you want it, because there's probably thousands of courses or free information on setting up Google Ads, or even like getting GA4 set up, getting tag manager, all of that. Mm-hmm. Do you have your merchant center set up as well?
Yes.
Okay, so you have got something going on the Google side?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So again, this all links back up together and forms its like own globe structure architecture, which you need everything pulling together to maximize your opportunities. So again, we do another deep dive on this if you want, but the reason I ask is because you've got like one primary source of traffic, which is Facebook.
Yeah.
And Facebook, I mean Meta, so Instagram as well, but that's it.
Yeah, for the moment. I mean, I was looking into TikTok Shop and Amazon, but those are 2 completely separate entities for Shopify anyway. Yeah,
they are, and they also have their own strategy. And the key is, remember, to keep the main thing.
Yeah.
So don't get too distracted with the shiny object syndrome. You can layer these on for additional revenue streams or different markets to tap into. But for now, Google, your number 1 priority is, if you're wanting to dominate this industry of red light, anyone searching for red light, you're going to need to want to be in that top 4 positions for someone typing in red light, hair growth or whatever.
Yeah. And
you can do that. You can buy that traffic, or you can bid for those keywords. Perfect. And then you can narrow it down by putting in long tail, short tail keywords. With affinity words, you can add in negative keywords, so you're not coming up for certain phrases that don't involve you.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to overcomplicate it, but this is another avenue of revenue that you need to have. It's a core part of any e-commerce. And I'll see if I can do this.
I was going to say, I'd love to deep dive into this now.
Well, let me see.
Quite a long video.
Let's see if I can do this. All right. So let me find this for you. All right. I think this is still recording my screen, which is good. So this is basically what's going to be in my course. I mean, it's a bit smaller. All right. And this, for every single role, business that I've ever worked with and scaled, it always follows this exact same framework. This is it.
Cool.
Okay. First and foremost, the most important is your mindset. Okay. I've got like 3-4 hours worth of mindset training in here. Then we've got the technology stack. Okay. This is it. This is all you need. Shopify, Klaviyo, Google, obviously GA4 for analytics, Meta, QuickBooks for your accounts, domain hosting, design, Amazon, And then if you want to do customer service, you can do that as well. Okay. Digital plumbing generally comes down to this. All right. I'll just see if I can narrow these down as much as possible. And when I say digital plumbing, this is the infrastructure every single e-com store is based on as a kind of fundamental framework. So you've got Shopify. Okay. You've got your email marketing. Again, all of these have their own modules. You've got your Facebook ads. Again, everything just keeps, you can just keep deep diving in it. And then you've got your Google suite, which is what I'm talking to you about.
Nice.
Okay, everything in here. Yeah, so you get it.
So is the ad spend going to be similar to Facebook, or is it a lot less usually?
It can be and should be a lot less, ideally.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be as, it's not as controlled, although you can if you're going to deep dive on it.
Right.
But generally it's a small budget because we're bidding, I don't know, $1 or $2 a day.
Okay, so it's not aggressive then?
No. It can be. You can scale it up. And for Google, so say one of my brands, I think we're achieving on average, I'll maybe able to find it actually, and I think like 6,000% ROAS.
Wow.
On Google. It's
Jeez.
huge. And you can set Google as well to automatically scale and apply more budget if it's within this target range.
Wow.
You can also upload your email database list into Google so it looks for similar profiles, kind of help it on its learning. But there's a whole lot to do in that. And again, this is another avenue for you to add on to layer in. That's going to do this. And again, just for those who are starting, or those who are also wanting to scale as well, if you're not doing this, big opportunity cost. So again, you can either speak to me if you want to do like a live session, get in my school course, or if you don't want to do either of that, get on YouTube, invest in yourself, put that time in and learn just the fundamental basics. And the only way to do it really is just to start now, get perfect later. Don't think you have to have all of the information. You don't. You just need to start. And then as you start to encounter problems, deal with them one by one. Same for anything. Pretty much exactly what you've done with this, right?
That's it. Yeah. I mean, I was so tempted to go all in and just start doing like $500 a day budget. But my advice to you guys starting out would definitely be to start small. Wait for the traffic to build up, wait for Facebook's algorithm to learn, and then start doubling down. But even now, I haven't scaled. Remember, I tried to scale, and then all of a sudden, my traffic just went down to absolutely nothing. Facebook didn't like it at all. So my budget, when I first started, is still the same budget that I have now on Facebook.
Yeah, but remember, we're not optimizing that. We're optimizing for ad efficiency.
Yeah.
We want to be efficient marketers. It's not about how much you can spend. Generally, in the bigger picture, yes, if you can spend, we'll get more results. But that generally with Facebook doesn't correlate. If you just like light a fire under an ad and expect it to take off, it doesn't work like that. There's ways to do that. And also you can retract it, you can push it back up again, you can turn ads off and turn them back on again. Again, it's a very, very complicated setup. And I don't think anyone at Facebook fully understands how the algorithm works. But the main thing is it does work if you get it right. But the focus for you is to control your main controllables, which, let's be honest, are your creative, most important, your headline, your copy, your landing page.
Yeah, which
and then
need improvements.
Always needs improvement, always iterating. But the key is don't change too much at one time, otherwise it's impossible for you to know what made the difference.
Right.
If possible, try and isolate it and do maybe like 3 or 4 days of just one change. Otherwise, like you might make one thing amazing. Yeah. But then if you've also done 10 other things that day, you don't know what's what. As you've seen, I just give you a little bit of an overview of like the e-com digital plumbing. There's a lot of moving parts, but everything works together to convert. It's not just Facebook's fault for the sale. It's also Shopify's. Yeah. It's also your copywriting. Page, It's also your email flows. Everything kind of has to work together as a kind of cohesive engine, if you like. And that just takes time and experience. And again, this is what I'm trying to portray and give as much of value as I can because I took me, I don't know, 6 years to get anywhere in e-commerce. That's a long time, right? Yeah. But I had to do it all myself. I came from absolutely nothing. I had no one in my immediate network. YouTube training, all of that wasn't really anywhere near as hot as it was. Dropshipping didn't really exist. It was super complicated. So I'm trying to be this resource where I can try and show you what to do, but then also help you on the mindset side, because the mindset is, for me anyway, is one of the most important things, particularly so in the early stages when everyone's telling you it's not going to work, it's too difficult, just go back to your 9 to 5, or you're having a few bad days, or things don't feel like they're going in your way. You have to persist.
Yeah, I mean, when you first met me, I was just jumping from idea to idea.
You were
doing this like typical drop shipping mindset where you'll test out a product for a week or 2 weeks, go, oh no, it's not working, move on to the next.
Yeah.
I can guarantee if I actually put all of my attention and focus into any one of those drop shipping products, it would still be working to this day.
Yeah.
Well, better than it was.
100%.
Yeah.
Because you have to allow time to compound. You have to allow the learnings to compound, because every time you switch off, you reset the learning. You go from zero again. Yes, you might get a little better at the web design and stuff, but in terms of like testing the product, I guarantee there's a market for everything out there. The principles, I would say, if you are looking for like a product to brand anyway, is you like the most important thing. Two things, just these two things. First and foremost, make sure you've got margin, like a lot of margin to build in operational overheads, reordering, so your cost of goods sold, and obviously your marketing. Yeah, you need to have margin on that. And the second one, and arguably the most important one, make sure this product or service solves a very real world problem. Yeah, that's what people are buying. They're buying solutions to their problems. And 20,000 foot view, you've got your customer's current situation, you've got the desired situation, your product needs to bridge the gap. And however strong that pain point is dictates how easy it's going to sell. It's like just a basic, simple framework to think about when you are looking for a product. And then once you know that, you niche down, you know more about them, the product, the problem, the market, that niche. You know more about them than anything. You become a subject matter expert, at which point you can then diversify. Then you can add in and layer different products, but you're focused on solving one really important problem. If you're selling, I don't know, key rings or whatever, it's incredibly difficult because it's gimmicky, you've got no margin. I'm using this as an example because this is one of Luke's first dropshipping.
Chicken nugget keychains I was selling on a funny website.
For how much?
I think I was selling them for like $20 towards the end because I started packaging them together. You could only buy 4, but to begin with, like $5. And I realised I wasn't taking into consideration the payment processing fees. So I was actually losing money every day for like a month. Yeah, it's quite funny though.
But it's a good lesson to learn, and this is the whole point in this, is to teach you what not to do. So indirectly, you now know what to do. Okay?
Yep.
Cool. All right. So, what would do you have like any feedback? And I've been doing a lot of the talking just for guys who are starting out, or those who have got their first 10, 20k a month and they want to scale. Do you have any insights?
Listen to this guy. I mean, the proof's in the pudding, really. I've literally started from zero, or I'd say failing companies before that picked up a lot of bad habits along the way and thought I knew it all, and then from an hour sit down, I mean, look what we've achieved already in a month. So yeah, highly recommend joining the school community. I mean, it's $1. Yeah, that's it. And be persistent.
Yeah.
Very, very persistent. Don't give up on anything.
Yeah, it's persistence over time. That's what allows everything to come together. What's your vision for the store? What's next? Where are we taking it?
I mean, there's a lot. So, as you know, I went to China recently to actually meet the manufacturers of this product. So I want to get to know if it is as good as they're saying it is in terms of quality. There's a lot of things that they say about the product. For example, it being 650 nanometers, which is the wavelength of the LEDs. I actually wanted to meet the manufacturers to find out if they are, and if there's anything that I can do to improve the product. Turns out there's a lot that I can do to improve. So I'm getting a new version made up. I've improved the quality of the hats as well. Actually met up with a hat manufacturer out there, got to feel all the fabrics and things like that. So improving on the product, making a lot more content. I want to get behind the brand, and I want to get myself in front of the camera a lot more than I have been. Kind of wish I did a tour of me doing China and things like that. And just educating myself as much as possible and becoming the best person in this industry. A lot of people come to me with the same questions, and when I first started I was unprepared, but after all the research that I've done now, I truly believe in the product because I've done the research and it's backed by my research from it. So yeah,
that's good. So we want to turn this into a proper brand. Are we going to diversify, or are we going to improve?
I think
product? What are you saying?
for the minute, I want to improve. There's a lot of ideas that I want to do in the future, but I need to be realistic about time frames. It's It's called Red Light Innovation. I want to expand into all different areas of red light products eventually, but I want to not perfect, but get this product done to such good quality that people don't second guess my products in the future. So yeah, that's the plan. So make new products in the future, but not at this stage. Just improve, make this product great, and then maybe start marketing it towards women at some point as well.
Okay, so again, knowing the right time to execute on these improvements, on diversifying, on reinvesting, is a skill in and of itself, because it's very easy for you to overcommit. For example, you could think, okay, I've sold a few, and I'm going to buy 5,000 units and warehouse them myself. Don't do that. Do not do that. Don't also think, okay, this works, now I'm going to add this, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this, because you're adding in more layers of complexity. And as we can see just from the tech stack, it's already complex enough.
Yeah.
So the timing's got to be right, and ideally, you want the money that comes in the business needs to stay in the business, and that's obviously to keep the lights on for you in the beginning, but then also you're constantly reinvesting back into marketing, you're reinvesting back into inventory, into product, into, improving your whole process, whether that's your mindset, whether that's just your understanding of business. All of that needs to go in, and it needs to be for something. So key thing is not to get too ahead of yourself too quickly, because this is like a month's data set, and it's amazing.
Yeah. And what I've done in that 1 month already, I mean, I've changed two fulfillment centers already. I'm changing the supplier now as well, improving the product, which is loads already. So yeah, I don't want to stretch myself too thin either.
Yeah, it's not too done. And remember, the most important part is we need to get close to our customers as well. These are the guys who will tell us what they like, what they don't like, what they love, and what they hate. And this dictates your next move, not what you think is right.
Exactly.
It has to be customer-led.
So yeah, I got my first customer feedback form the other day as well, which was actually very positive, so I was happy about that.
Amazing.
Yeah, he said that there could be a couple of improvements, such as having it rechargeable and having the battery as part of the hat there, which is great. It's good to have that kind of feedback on board, and think, okay, I might be able to improve it in that area.
Remember, with that scientific process as well, we always start with a hypothesis, then we take it to market, then we review, did it work? Yes, okay, do more. Did it not work? Okay, let's try something different. When this feedback comes from the market, they're doing that for you, and this is gold for you as an early stage or mid-stage entrepreneur, because all of a sudden you're not starting from an assumption. It's market-led. They're telling you they're using it and they're getting value from this. However, it would be better if X, Y, or Z. Use that. Get enough of that research. Push as much as you can to other customers to see what they think of that first. And only once you get a big data set, this is how you make data-driven decisions. Assumptions, I think I said this last time, like assumption makes, an ass of you and me, it stands for, right? But when you start, you have to base it on standard assumptions. You have to, otherwise you just never do it. You have to have a hypothesis. This is a good product. This is a real world problem. Unless you're solving a problem for yourself, of course, which is always best. If you're buying or inventing or sourcing a product for others, that doesn't solve a direct problem you have. You have to base it on assumptions. But as soon as you start to get data sets, this is what will direct you forward, because all of a sudden you don't have to assume anymore, because you know this is a real life breathing customer, human being who's using it. They have this problem and they're telling you it could be better by doing this, or I don't like it because of that. This is what you use to help navigate. All right. Try not to make assumptions. And again, this is even more important when it comes to the numbers, which again we could do probably a whole other session on how we deep dive and understand your margins, your profit, all of the moving parts on the fulfillment side of things, because it is complex, right? It seems complex, sorry. Compared to 10 years ago, it's incredibly easy because you can piggyback on existing infrastructure, on an existing network, really. And the software does a lot of the hard work and heavy lifting for you. But again, just back to the point of you need to know your numbers. You need to understand that you're building a brand here. And that means you're probably going to either just keep doubling down on improving the product or diversifying it. But that data needs to come from the real world, not from what you think is right, or how much you think you're making, or what you think customers will or won't like, or are or aren't willing to pay for. Okay, just another principle just to be aware of when you're doing this, because as you start to scale, the magnitude of the decisions that you make are relative. When we're on level one problems okay, we get over them. Level 4, 5, 6, 10 problems all of a sudden have level 10 consequences attached to them. And if you haven't built that skill set, you haven't built that mindset, then it's further to fall. I don't know if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. That's a good analogy.
Yeah. So again, just constantly being aware of that. And I know I keep saying it, but get as much support, have as much good people around you as possible. It was one of the reasons I was going to move to Dubai, why I live in Bali as well, is because I'm around a lot of fellow entrepreneurs in a similar industry, similar niche, they're similar age, going through the same things. We can knowledge share, we can kind of big each other up. I don't mean that like ego. I mean, if you're having a problem, they're having a problem, we can kind of pull them back up, or we can give them creative solutions. So sometimes getting out of that environment that you're in is really important, because you end up being a product of your environment. And if you can't do that, who are you following online? How are you curating your feed, your YouTube? Who you're watching? What podcasts have you got on? Are you sitting watching movies on Netflix? Are you watching things to inspire you? You know what I mean? Just little things like this that are within your control. That is normally passive wasted time that you can actually re-augment to actually help you move forward in business.
Yeah.
All right.
That's why I would say that school community is perfect if you want to be surrounded by those kind of people.
Yeah, and then I'll also do, as I said, at least one-to-many call where you can come prepared with your questions. We can look at your store if you want, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. So it's direct one-to-one access to me if you need it. But yeah, just please get in quickly. We've literally just launched it, so after 50 the price is going up, so be quick. And then obviously I'm also going to build this course, so if you have specific problems or a lot of you have similar issues that you'd like me to make a module on, this is going to be the best way to get it over to me. Okay, if you want direct access to me, you know I am on Instagram at Lou Antonio Matera. Just again follow me, drop me a message. If you want to book in a call as well, please get in touch. I'm only going to do this for a small amount of time before I'll only do this for guys in my school community. Again, I want to be able to demonstrate that I am who I say I am, I've done what I say I'm doing, and again, just using this example from a standing start, from doing the product sourcing, setting up a store, getting the ads going, literally he's made two and a half grand English, so about 3k US in 1 month from a standing start. With all of this compound experience, I know you can do better. He can do better, yeah? But you have to start somewhere. And you also have to start now. Don't push it off, because the stars will never align. It's not a thing in business. You sometimes have to force and bend life to your will. It's just the way it is. No one's going to do it for you. But yeah, I think, unless you've got anything else to talk about, we'll just keep this one nice and short.
Yeah, no, that's it. It'd be nice to do the next one, which might be a little bit further in the future, because I'm going back to England for a month or so. But it'd be interesting to see how much progress I'm going to make in a month.
Yeah, and we'll do a live check-in. Luke's going to be in the school community as well, so we can, again, get him on the live calls as well and see how he's doing. But I'm more interested in you guys, just making sure that you're either getting started, or if you are starting, then you're getting from that 20, 30 to 100k a month as quickly and as efficiently and as effortlessly as possible. And that's what I'm here for, so please use me as a resource. But yeah, that's all for now. Please like this video. Please drop me a comment if you have any questions. Subscribe to my channel as well. This content's going to keep coming out. I'm doing at least one mindset newsletter video every week. I'm also writing blogs just again on mindset and e-com if you want to get into that. Again, just go to hello@inventimpossible.com or just inventimpossible.com on the website. Sign up for my newsletter. And the main thing, get in that school community. But yeah, thank you so much, guys.